Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, I've heard that this is actually the best Hefeweizen in Michigan, Arbor Brewing Company's Bliss Wheat. Bliss Wheat is a 5.9% Hefeweizen from Arbor Brewing Company in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Arbor Brewing Company has been around for a long time, 1995. I think they're actually the oldest brewery in Ann Arbor, which is pretty impressive considering there's probably 5 or 6 right in Ann Arbor, maybe more. I have to admit, I always thought their beer was better on draft than from bottles, but it's been a long time since I've had anything from Arbor Brew in a bottle. So a viewer, B. Johnson, what up, B? Commented on my Frankenmuth the Hef review that Bliss Wheat was named the best Hefeweizen in America by the Craft Beer News Service, so I figured it was definitely worth trying out. If you remember my last Hefeweizen review, which you can find linked right over here, I'm going to be pulling out the Weizen glass again and letting her rip. So, getting my Weizen glass, my Hefeweizen glass, got my handy dandy bottle opener. The label art on this is a lion in a kind of like a circus. I guess it's got like a Ferris wheel and a little big top here, and he's juggling bottles. I don't really understand what that has to do with wheat or being blissful, but we're just going to roll with it. So, an Arbor Brew, they have this really cool, their label or their icon, whatever you want to say, is it's a tree, and they're all about, and it says Mitten Made on the top there, if you can see that. They're all about using natural ingredients. Obviously, they in their restaurant, in the brew pub, they really push the farm to table kind of thing, locally sourced food. And Hefeweizens, when you pour them, ooh, I've had some nice little stuff coming out of the top there. When you pour these, you want to make sure your glass is a little bit moist, damp inside. I can smell that Hefe goodness in there. You pour it, and as you pour it, you roll the glass. Easy for me to say. You roll it, and then you just dunk it right in there, and you kind of pull it. So you get the yeast. Oh, and then I forgot the last step. You got to roll that last little bit in the bottle here, and then you get all that nice yeast on top. This is actually pretty clear. I was expecting it to be a little bit hazier, a little bit more of that unfiltered wheat. It smells really good though. It smells kind of a little bit of a clovey kind of smell. It smells nice and fresh, kind of yeasty. Let's give it a drink. See what we think. All right, so I get a nice kind of sweet up front. You really get that banana taste, some of the clove. It's got this different kind of bitterness to it. On the back end, it's really fresh, really bright. It's got a nice clean taste to it. Let's try one more drink. It has like the citrusy kind of bite to it. I get that more in the aftertaste though. The aftertaste isn't as clean as smooth as I would hope. Yeah, maybe it's like a kind of a grapefruit kind of cut to it. But like I said, it's sweet up front. You get a nice clove taste to it. It's really clean. It's really clear and crisp. The back end, you get a little bit of bitterness. It's kind of like a hoppy, kind of grapefruity bitterness. And the aftertaste kind of sits with you. So it's just kind of chilling out in my mouth there. If I take a big pull from it, I do get a lot of the sweetness up front. I don't get so much bitterness, but it does kind of sit in the back and kind of hangs out on the back of my tongue. And it's not leaving a whole lot of extra... I'm not getting a whole lot of yeastiness out of it, actually, which I find kind of odd, because that's kind of a staple of the style, is to be really kind of yeasty, kind of bready. I'm not getting a lot of bready out of this. I'm getting kind of upfront sweetness, like I said, with the banana, the clove, and then it kind of cuts it with like almost like a grapefruit kind of peeled bitterness to it, kind of a hoppy bitterness, which again, I wasn't expecting. I was expecting it more to be a little crisper. I mean, it is crisp, clear, bright, and again, like more bready, more yeasty. And like I said, there's not a whole lot of yeastiness left in here. The other Michigan Hefeweizen that I tried was the Hef from Frankenmuth. And it just, I think it's a little bit better than this. This isn't quite up to the snuff to the Hef. If I had my pick between the two, I'd go with the Hef. But, you know, overall, it's not a bad beer. But, again, it's not my favorite Hef. I don't know if I'd call it America's best. Maybe, yeah, I don't know if I'd call it America's best. Maybe I'm just not I'm not picking up on what they picked up. Again, like I said, Arbor Brew, to me, their stuff in the bottles has always kind of been not as good as the stuff on draft. When I go to their brew pub in Ann Arbor, I enjoy their beer quite a bit more. I think on draft, straight out of the keg, it's a lot better than their bottled stuff. I would have to try their stuff in the brew pub, in the tap room, and compare it against this to really, you know, obviously make a more educated decision than that. But like I said, I think the Hef from Frankenmuth Brewing is a little bit better. This isn't bad, but it's just best Hef in America. I don't know about that. So, friends, that is Bliss Wheat from Arbor Brewing Company. All right, so now that the door is slamming shut on summer, I'm going to start digging into the Oktoberfest and the pumpkin beers. So let me know what some of your favorites are in Michigan in the comments below. And while you're down there, why not click on that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You can also find links to my social media, my Facebook and my Instagram, or you can check out my blog at drafttherapy.com. It's all free thanks to viewers like you. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by, and remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries, and don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.